Have you ever been in a meeting where somehow everyone started to feel tense? One person was trying to calm everyone down, one person felt attacked, and another was doing everything possible to save the situation. Everyone has good intention, of course, and they wanted things to go well, but in the end, it created a kind of collective discomfort. That's exactly what psychologist Stephen Karpman described with what he calls the drama triangle. Drama here doesn't mean tragic, it means theatrical, because in this triangle, we are not bad people, we are just playing roles without realizing it. A little story to start that. Once upon a time, in a big open office, there were three coworkers who all wanted to do the right thing. Emily, the manager, saw that her team was overwhelmed. She told herself, I will help them. I'll take everything on my shoulders so no one feels stressed. Mark, meanwhile, started to feel tired and forgotten. He thought, no one ever listens to me. I do my best, but nobody notices. Sophie, the most organized colleague, watched all this with a frown. Honestly, if everyone just did their job properly, it wouldn't be in this mess. But the more Emily tried to save, the more Mark felt like a victim. And the more Mark complained, the more Sophie criticized. And the more Sophie scolded, the more Emily wanted to rescue. The triangle kept turning and turning until everyone was tired and discouraged. No one was the bad guy, but each one was playing a role that stopped the team from moving forward. One morning, Emily took a deep breath and said, what if this time we tried to find a different way together? Here is the drama triangle from Cartman. You can see three roles: the persecutor, the victim, and the rescuer. So persecutor is the person tough, the critical guy, rigid. He often seen as the bad one, but usually acts this way to protect or control. So, for example, he could say, do it the way I say, do it properly. I'm tired of having to repeat myself. The victim feels powerless, as if things are always happening to them. For example, I don't have the choice. It always ends up on me. And the third role, the rescuer, wants to help, but often ends up suffocating or taking over. For example, let me do it for you. I just want everyone to be okay. Two important things. First, each role keeps the others alive. And the second one, you can move from one role to another very quickly. So, for example, the rescuer could become a victim when their help is rejected. The victim becomes a persecutor when they start to fight back. And the persecutor ends up feeling like a victim when they don't get recognition. There is another triangle, the dynamic triangle from David Emerald. You can see the name of the role has changed. Here, the goal is to transform blocking roles into constructive posture. So in the dynamic triangle, the victim becomes the creator. So the victim chooses how to respond, takes responsibility, accepts the consequence of their choices. They no longer feel powerless. They become proactive. They could say, what am I learning right now? The rescuer becomes the coach. So supports without doing things for other, asks questions instead of giving orders or fixing everything. So he could say, I trust you to move forward. And finally, the persecutor becomes the caring challenger. He sets clear boundaries and expresses their needs without blaming others. An important thing to remember, moving from the drama triangle to the dynamic triangle means changing your inner posture from reaction, emotion reaction, to awareness. So here we have 4 steps to step out of the triangle. First, observe you without judgment. We all move through this role at times. The goal is not to avoid the triangle, but to recognize it faster. The second step is to name the dynamic, name what's happening. So, for example, I feel like I'm about to take this task on for you. I notice I'm trying to impose my vision on you. I realize I'm waiting for others to make the decision for me. Third step, ask open-ended question. For example, what would you like to see change in this situation? What would help you feel more supported? How do you see the next step of the project? What would a success look like for you here? And finally, please take care of yourself. Because when your brain is tired, you have a risk to replace drama triangle again and again and much faster. So if you have a meeting, you could turn off your notification 30 minutes before the meeting. If you have to give feedback, please take a short break before that. Breath, take a 5-minute walk if you need to talk to another person. So be careful to these 3 pitfalls. Pitfall number 1, believing you must resolve conflict or tension immediately. The risk here is the conversation becomes a race to be right instead of a space to understand the other one. The tip here is to take a few minutes before responding. The impact, you turn tension into collective learning. Pitfall number 2, thinking that understanding the dynamic is enough to change it. The risk is clearly you could analyze others instead of engaging with them. So my tip is move from awareness to action. You embody relation leadership instead of just explaining it. And finally, pitfall number 3, believing that staying neutral will prevent drama. Sorry, but it won't happen. You will appear distant or indifferent. So express your feeling or your needs clearly. For example, I feel concerned about what I am saying, or I care about this project and I'd like to blah, blah, blah. The impact, you will create an atmosphere of authenticity and trust. So please remember, stepping out of the triangle means choosing awareness over reaction. We all enter the drama triangle at some point. That's part of being human. But when we become aware of the roles we play, we open the door to a different kind of relationship. One that's more responsible, more balanced, and more human. My question for you today, which role do you sometimes step into with which role do you sometimes step into without realizing it? And which role would you like to choose instead?